So apparently a lot of you love hair removal content. The Bald Beginner is definitely not a channel focusing on wax or threading, but somehow my analytics keep telling me more of that, please. And since I was being asked to share the threading process for my eyebrows, and somehow it's about time that I get them done, I'm going to share the process with you today. Everyone has a different natural shape. So don't ask your beautician for the eyebrows of some celebrities whose shape you like. You need to work with what you have. The more hair, the more shape options. And as you can see, I definitely have natural bushy eyebrows. That's why I was actually able to go from this to this. Don't ask me why I had them so thin. And then this, a more natural yet clean shape. This video will probably be quite short because the process itself is pretty straightforward. The biggest part really is to not build up false hopes in your head before you book your appointment. You definitely want to give all the specifics before they start. In my case, I always ask not to touch the area between my eyebrows since it's naturally hairless. I also ask to trim my eyebrows hairs to keep the length in check. I really tried my best to film the process, but as you can see, the beautician may ask you to hold your eyebrow with 2 hands for less pain and more precision. I was actually holding my phone between my thighs and it doesn't look so great. So, let me show you what threading looks like on another clearer video. Apparently, beauticians use a twisted cotton thread to pull out multiple hairs at once. What's great is that it offers a chemical-free alternative to waxing that's gentle on the skin, but highly accurate for shaping. Of course, the beautician always finalizes by plucking whatever hairs they haven't pulled yet. Ta-da! Here's the final result. And here's a before and after. What do you think? One final update, because I'm extremely happy with the eyebrows that I have right now. Honestly, thank you guys for pushing me to do threading again because I hadn't been doing it in quite a while. And it just so happened that I think the beautician I had this time made them possibly the best I've ever had them. So thank you for that. I'm going to show you, I think I can't get too close, so otherwise it's going to get blurry, but I'm pretty sure you can see what it looks like. They're very symmetrical. Interesting fact, for the first time, this beautician told me what possibly other beauticians had been encountering, like the issue they had been encountering with my eyebrows, and that is that they're somehow not naturally symmetrical. So she had to literally reshape, like spend a lot of time on one of them to make them very symmetrical. And I think she did a fantastic job. Let me know in the comment, but I think it's like she did a great job. At least I'm super happy with it. So that's what matters, I guess. I wanted to sum up a few of the points that I've been mentioning in this video. And the first very important point is to not go expecting to have someone else's eyebrows that you think are cool, like someone else's eyebrow shape that you think are cool. It is something that in my experience actually make beauticians quite mad. If you go in there asking them like, I would like to have these eyebrows or eyebrows that look like this celebrity or whatever, and it looks like nothing like your natural shape, they're going to be quite annoyed because basically there's no magic here and you need to work on what you already have. So for instance, I'm going to take an extreme example. If I go there and I say like, I would like to have a very round eyebrow shape and that goes like really high, they're going to be looking at me like, well, we can't do that. We can't replace your eyebrows here and make them round when your initial shape is more like straight. So really keep that in mind. When you go, you need to work with what you have. The second point, which is quite similar or like along the same lines, is to again work with what you have in terms of quantity. There's a lot of people out there that may not have as much hairs as I have in my eyebrows. So it's something I've heard a lot actually when I go either waxing or threading my eyebrows. The beauticians always tell me like, well, you're lucky in that way that you have a lot to work on. So you can actually adjust different shapes because since it's pretty thick, I could make it thin to the top here, or I could make it thin to the bottom, or I can make the shape that I have now, or like I can work different things because it's pretty bushy initially. If you are someone who has kind of scattered hairs or not that much density, it may be more difficult in that way. So it's also something to really keep in mind when you go, is working with what you have also in terms of density, quantity of hairs that you have and things like that. A third point is the budget. So For me, it comes down to very cheap per year. I would say that both threading and waxing for the eyebrows is very cheap. Usually it goes between maybe 10 to, just pushing it here, maybe $20 in some areas, but usually it's more like $10, $15. And sure, you can come to a budget if you do it monthly, but personally what I do is I go twice a year basically, and in between, you see now the shape is very clear. I just have to pluck every time that I see a hair growing back, and I just plug them as they come, and that way I can maintain the shape that I've had. And obviously over time you kind of lose track of the shape because it starts growing more and more, but usually it takes me about 6 months to start being unhappy with my eyebrows and be like, okay, let me just reshape it properly, and then I will restart plucking it for another 6 months. So it costs me between $20 to $30 per year to have my eyebrows quite clean all year round. And the final point is the pain. And this one, I was literally starting making this video thinking I'm going to say it's just slightly uncomfortable, but the pain is very, very tolerable. But you heard it. Prior in the video, the beautician actually told me, and you can see, I guess, my face when she says that to me. I'm pretty surprised. She did tell me that some people literally scream, asked her to stop, that it was somehow unbearable to them. So I guess it just reminded me that everyone's tolerance to pain is very different, that everyone's skin is very different. Maybe my skin in the eyebrow area is not that sensitive, and maybe some people have a very sensitive skin in that area. So I guess all you can do is take my experience for what it is. You can see in the video when I do it that I don't budge that much. It is uncomfortable. It's not a pleasant sensation, but you can tell that I'm not really in pain or anything. I just take it for a minute and it's over. So this is my experience. However, you can understand that I cannot tell you how you're going to feel about the pain. So it's really something you need to assess for yourself based on your usual tolerance for pain. And I guess try that once and see how it goes for you. But overall, extremely happy. Thank you so much for asking me to make this video, because now here I go for 6 months of super clean and honestly very beautiful eyebrows. I'm very happy with them. So thank you again. Great experience for me, and I hope that will help you make an informed decision.